but I'm not going to go into it now. I can talk to you guys afterwards. So they say that fairies are considered to be inferior races. Marxists say they're a form of primitive storytelling collective. That this is a kind of orature and oral culture. Fairy tales come about when the people act as a collective and they speak with one voice. Structuralist Vladimir Prop, if you're interested in fairy tales, he does a wonderful morphology of fairy tales. They look at the implications of the narrative structure, and the important thing to remember is that they are profoundly formulaic. There is a particular form to fairy tales. One of the great interesting matters about fairy tales is that the characters are so flat. They're all types. You don't get development in them. If you look at the new film Maleficent, she's absolutely not what she should be. Maleficent meaning I mean you harm. And so they make Angelina Jolie dress up as her and kind of give her a back history. It spoils the fairy tale. Psychoanalysts, from Jungian school in particular, they say they're manifestations of a collective unconscious. They're archetypal. The characters represent these kind of hardwired things we have in our brain that tell us to be frightened of something and tell us that we were drawn by other things. So these are the theoretical implications. There are others, of course. Gothic and the fairy tale, they're both related to fantasy. I'm going to talk a little bit about fantasy. I don't want to talk too much about it. They're very thematically similar. The themes of the Gothic and the themes of the fairy tale are very, very similar. They both try to teach us a lesson. At the heart of them is excessive desire and punishment for excessive desire. Cannibalism, naturally, infanticide, abandonment, mutilation. To summarise, good and evil. Good and evil play at the heart of Gothic and they play at the heart of the fairy tale. They have formulated plot structures which invariably promote a happy ending. Evil will be overridden at the end. Good will conquer all. The settings are always dark and dark castles. There are subterranean vaults, as we see in the film. I'm going to show you archetypal characters as I mentioned. And this point, obscurity and the sublime. We always think of the sublime as being big and excessive, great mountains that make us awe-stricken. But also, deep, deep darkness can get that same sublime feeling because the obscurity gives us a thrill of fear. And it gives us a sense of the uncanny. So, the awe of the unseen, that which we cannot see. We had a little clip at the start there. Don't be afraid of the dark. But we are afraid of the dark, and more particularly, we are afraid of what is in the dark because we cannot see. We cannot empirically know what is happening around us. So the unknown makes things uncanny. The unseen makes things. I'm slowly not going to go through all of these, but when I was saying that fairy tales are formulaic, virtually everything on there, virtually every single one of those elements of the Gothic, you can see in a fairy tale. You can break it down using a structural analysis, and you can see almost all of those elements in a fairy tale. Almost all of them. So why is it that we think of fairy tales as something that we sit and we put our hand on our knee and say, oh, well, you know, all is happily ever after. We're really not going to read Matthew Lewis as the monk to our wee child, are we? We're not going to brandish a decomposing baby and go, look, if you're a nun and you get raped and have one of these, you go mad and they put you in a cellar. We don't do that. We kind of sanitize a little bit, but they are very dark indeed. This is the fantastic. Fairy tale and the Gothic are very fantastic. And you can read through the slide, and it all breaks down to the idea of possible worlds. What is possible within a given world? In Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, well, we expect little men with hairy feet to come running out of hobbit holes. We expect elves to run around being kind of very chivalric and medieval and eloquent and so forth. Because that world allows for it. That world allows for it. It all becomes very fantastic. There are numbers of levels. Fairy tales are very marvellous. The idea of the supernatural. Can this happen in this world? Would this world allow for it? Would the laws of this world allow for it? With the marvellous, we have no doubt about supernatural characters. We really have no doubt about them at all. We know that it can happen in this world. There are some wonderful, fantastic, wonderful police eat the legs round. So you can't find, they think it's something supernatural. Hugh Monroe, Sarby, does a similar thing. So, moving on. Gothic, possibly the supernatural of all day. Now this is one of my great favourites, Arthur Machen. You know this, James, don't you? I thought the great Gothic town. As soon as you were 18, I said, read Arthur Machen. Otherwise they were very little boy. I do try to have everybody read Arthur Machen. It has to be said, he is a wonderful writer. And you'll see why I'm talking about him in a minute. This is what he said. He was a Welshman, which is fine. I'm not saying that's particularly Gothic, but you know, he says literature has gone only to ruin and has lent a powerful hand in the transformation, so that the playful elves of Shakespeare are already far removed from the true original. Hooker, Robin Goodfellow, the Hobgoblin, are already removed from the true original, and the real horror is disguised in the form of prankish mischief. But in older tales, the stories that used to make men cross themselves, they sat around the burning log, we tread a different step. I saw a widely opposed spirit in certain histories of children, men, and women who vanished strangely from the earth. So Machen genuinely believes that the fairies can make people vanish. He's talking about old cultures, he's talking about country cultures in the kind of backwaters of Wales, where people would actually cross themselves when they talk about the fairies, where people were genuinely afraid of what the fairies did. They left a child quietly sitting in a cottage door, rudely barred in a piece of wood, and have returned not to find a plump and rosy little Saxon, cute, but a thin and wizened creature with sallow skin and black gazing eyes, the child of another race. So, fairies in Wales, they do it in Ireland as well, and in Scotland, and in the borders, they do it all over. They replace your healthy child, they take it away, and they leave you this little monster brat. So this is Arthur Machen, idea. He's a wonderful writer. The white people wouldn't care. The fairies from Machen inspired dread, and they inspired terror. They got involved in poltergeist activity. They were vandals. They had shadowy rituals. And this is what he says. This folk dwells in remote and secret places. You see, obscure, sublime, and celebrates foul mysteries on savage hills. Nothing have they in common with men save the faith, and the customs of humanity are wholly strange to them. This end bit makes me freak. And they hate the sun. They hiss rather than speak. Their voices are harsh as not to be heard without fear. So the fairies are strange, they're eerie, anarchic, destructive, parasitic. The fairies, for Arthur Machen, are Gothic. They're terrifying. They're monsters, and this is a genuine view that he held. I'm going to talk about this. This is taken from Guillermo del Toro's Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, but it summarises, which in part is based on Looking for White People, and also on some of the stories of Algernon Blackwood, who was a contemporary of Arthur Machen. Notice the image there. It's a really Gothic image. There is a child being dragged down into a kind of hellish, diabolical place by these monstrous troglodytic figures. If you haven't seen it, see it, but not on your own, in the dark, at night, with kind of a fire in your cellar. So there's the image that we're going to move on. Notice even the trees are animated. This is what Del Toro says. Blackwood's Guide to Dangerous Fairies. He co-writes this. It's a prequel to the film, which I'm going to talk about. It's a prequel to the film, and it follows a naturalist by the name of Emerson Blackwood. Emerson Blackwood clearly is the side version of Algernon Blackwood. It follows this naturalist who goes around the world in a way that very many 19th century kind of scientists and explorers did, and is cataloguing the most dangerous species in order to warn people to keep away from them. He goes to Italy, he finds something very gruesome. I don't want to spoil it for you because I told all the students to buy it because I love it. It's my bedtime reading. And he becomes a person of interest to the toothbreaker. The toothbreaker or the tooth fairy. He aggravates them and they become vengeful towards him. They don't like his curiosity. Fairies never do. So he goes to Rhode Island, as you do. How do you get into a tooth fairy? You go to Rhode Island. And he settles down, he incredibly dark fairies. Chooses a huge Gothic mansion, he builds it, and once there, they torment him. They torment him worse than they've ever tormented him before. And he goes progressively towards madness. And the film picks up a century after the book, when a new film picks up a century after the book, when a new family moves into the house to find that the tooth fairy hasn't left. I'll just show you a little bit. That, my friends, is a fairy tale. It is a fairy tale. It's exactly a fairy tale. That was one of my students, which I don't know which yet. Oh, yeah. I thought it was Robert on steroids. That, my friends, is a fairy tale. Now, is that nice? Is that something that you'd sit around with children and let them watch it? Del Toro, this is what he said, and I'm going to talk to you about why, in fact, it's a fairy tale. Notice how similar this was after Nathan said. There's a lovely one, but I couldn't use it because it's full of swear words when he actually talks about the tooth fairy, what the tooth fairy represents. But really, to kind of sanitize what Del Toro says, the tooth fairy is a really revolting character. We tell our children, go to bed tonight, and a horrible little creature will creep into your room, take your teeth, and leave some money for you. It's horrible. Is that the way to get children to go to bed? So he says, what it is ultimately they are fairies, and the fairies in the ancient notion of fairies, again, relating to what Nathan said. And the book is in half based on making work and argument about it. They're not positive in people's thinking. The notion originally in Welsh mythology and Anglo-Saxon mythology is it's pagan mythology. In pagan mythology, they are really ill-tempered, nasty, mischievous characters. After Judeo-Christian mythology came into Europe, they even said it was a war between God and the devil. The fairy folk remain neutral. So he's picking up on this idea that it suggested that the fairies, in fact, in the great battle in heaven, when Lucifer fell with the fallen angels, partway down, some of the angels went, ugh, and decided they shouldn't probably have done it. And so they stopped, and they became earthbound. And so this argument that fairies are in fact fallen angels. And they said, we're not going to take one side or the other. They did, but that's another story. They're not good, they're not evil. They can be incredibly nasty, or they can be incredibly benign. It's a really interesting mythology when you get to dig into it. And dig into it is an interesting point. I think this is what we need to do. There's one of the images from Blackwood's Guide to Dangerous Fairies. There are many, many of them. I would advise you to go off Amazon and get it because it's a terrific text. Why are fairy tales frightening? This uncanny. You need to remember the term the uncanny. Fairy tales are uncanny. This uncanny is in reality nothing new or foreign, but something familiar and old. Entrenched in a mind that has been strengthened by the process of suppression. The uncanny. Fairy tales are uncanny. Very often, they begin in our home or in our bedroom, the places of sanctuary where we feel most safe, and that is when it becomes absolutely uncanny. We walk into a forest, we might expect there going to be some kind of evil character in there. But when scary things start to happen in our own home, that's when it gets very terrifying. And this is the uncanny. Freud talks about it, unheimlich. Familiar and strange, or when the familiar becomes strange. Fairies are deeply, deeply uncanny. We know about them, and when we see them, like in Del Toro's version there, they become terrifying. Gothic, or is it a fairy tale? There are huge similarities between fairy tales and Gothic. Bridgewater says, Gothic is no less formulaic than fairy tale less sinisterly ambiguous.